All right, Jim, do you want to start us off or do you want me to?
Oh, go right ahead.
All right.
Take us away.
Welcome back, everybody,
Yes.
to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Today we have Michaela Jill Murphy.
Woo!
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
you know
for
her, you
having
love
me.
her. Of course, of course. How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's a little toasty in Los Angeles. If you are living here currently, you understand.
Yes.
And if not, it's definitely,
crisp.
yeah, it's the late summer roast, you know?
Yes.
That's what we're enduring right now. But I'm definitely can't complain. I was in Louisiana a couple weeks ago.
Oh. Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
we don't have the humidity. And for that, I'm very grateful.
That's true.
I will take
Yeah.
dry heat any day.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's a
little
dry
hot.
heat, but so a kiln is also dry, you know,
Yes.
and we don't, unless we're throwing pottery, you know, but no, I agree.
Maybe we
I
could do
agree.
that outside. You can burn your own, bring
Yeah,
your own
I lived
pottery
in New
and-
Orleans for a long time, and
Yeah?
it's bloody moist.
Uh-huh.
I used to be a deckhand on a rib boat. I won't bore you with this, but I remember I was on a barge, and it had grain that we were transporting grain, and of course a lot of it's going to spill. And we loaded up on one day, woke up in the morning, and all the spilled grain had sprouted
Oh.
in the air on metal.
Oh.
So that's bloody moist.
Yep,
And
like a-
done with the moisture.
Yep.
All right.
So we've talked about the weather.
Yes. Yeah, exactly right.
a very appropriate
how we
intro.
hate it.
Oh gosh.
But I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you for having me. Congrats on around a year of having a podcast. It's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You'd think I would know the date, but it was good old what's about a year ago.
Yeah, you know.
Remember that? That was us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how things go. You know, you start and then you're like, "Oh, we're doing it."
Yeah,
I guess we've been doing
apparently
it for a
so.
while.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're glad to have you. Thank
Yeah,
you very
thank
much
you.
once again. But so what's keeping you the busiest these days besides me?
Yeah. What's keeping me the busiest? Definitely still Avatar: The Last Airbender
Yeah.
fans.
Yes.
Y'all are crazy
Yes.
in the best way possible, but they just keep loving the show. I kind of thought it was
Yeah.
going to be this, like we revisited it and like it was so good to rewatch, and then everyone just like goes back and continues watching other things, and then they keep liking this show. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yes.
I was just gone for 5 weekends in a row, one of which was the Louisiana
Sure.
trip. But it was I'm so tired, but like it was also very cool,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
So that's keeping me probably the busiest. Next year's the 20th anniversary of the premiere episode, so that's a pretty
Really?
big moment. Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah, it's pretty.
If only I were
nuts.
a little more present in that show, I'm sure they would have bothered to tell me, but
Yeah.
no.
And you've been involved since the beginning?
Yes. So I've
pretty
technically
cool.
been involved kind of only in the beginning. So the original show is 3 seasons. And then they did kind of their second show, Legend of Korra, which was 4 seasons. And so I'm in the original show, and then I made a little cameo in Legend of Korra. And then all this time passed, and they made comics. And then like the last couple years, Avatar Studios kind of was created at Nickelodeon to make more Avatar content. But like all the movies and new like episodes of series and things that they're doing, I'm not involved with as of right now. If they call me back for anything, I will happily show up. But as of right now,
Those bastards. Well, we're
as
going
of
to
right
have
now,
to call.
it's just
We're
gonna
gonna have
be
to put in some phone calls.
the OGs. I mean, hey,
that, yeah.
you know, they're trying to spread the love. It's a very Asian-based world, and so they're trying to kind of include more diversity, and like everybody's older and different, so everybody doesn't sound the same exactly anyway.
Yeah, I was going to ask
So-
you, do you find it difficult to like keep up your childhood voice? We talked to Kathleen Hurlis not too long ago, Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, it's kind of like,
Getting harder.
yeah.
It's not too hard as far as pitch goes, but it is hard as far as accuracy goes, because I sometimes overshoot. I make myself too squeaky or too high because I'm like, oh, 12-year-old me, she's going to be so high pitched. But I'm really not. Like I listen back and I kind of don't have a super, I don't know, high pitched squeak kind of
Yeah.
sound. So
Well,
it's more like
it's
in the
good that you
back of my
can do it,
throat.
though,
Yeah, it's
because
kind of
that way-
12-year-old me sounds like this, and it's not super up here like this. Like
Yeah.
it's finding a subtlety. So I have to like copy myself, which is a little strange.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thankfully I can still do it. She's still in there. So
Oh,
that's-
gosh. Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, gosh.
Same question for you, Jim. I mean, you've been doing characters for so long.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that, like, as you get older, your voice changes a little bit? Do you find it I mean, we were watching an
Yeah.
episode of, I don't know, something.
Darkwing? No.
Darkwing or something. And I remember you hearing and you were like, oh, wow, that was when I was a young Pooh, you know? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so how has that been for you over the years trying to match?
Well, see, fortunately for me, I've been doing Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. And I mean, even in the early 60s when I was in the audience, the guys who were playing Winnie the Pooh, Sterling Holloway, and of course Paul Winchell, Tigger, they were already old. They were in their 60s and 70s, right from the jump. So it was like, I'll never outgrow this. I'll always be able to sound like a semi-cute little old man bear who likes honey. So it's not that bad. So I kind of still, and it was, for me, it was a character voice. For them, they were just talking.
Really?
Yeah, that's Winnie the Pooh. I mean,
I don't think
Sterling
I knew that.
Holloway. And if you remember Jungle Book, the snake Kaa,
Yes.
that was evil
Same
Winnie
thing.
the Pooh. And
Evil Winnie the Pooh.
yeah. And of course, from Alice in Wonderland, he played the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
And that was Winnie the Pooh on acid,
Yep.
I think. We're not allowed to say that, so I won't. But it was just that was just them talking.
Does it get easier for you to do those voices as you get older, almost?
It's funny. It's kind of the same.
Okay.
And as long as I have a bit of a head cold now, so it's a little weird.
Yeah.
But no, knock on wood. And I don't know about you. I don't smoke. I don't really
neither.
drink hard liquor
Yeah.
much. And
Here and there.
yeah, okay, yeah. Nothing worth noticing, nothing worth mentioning, so I won't. But no, just like I say, I've never smoked.
Yeah.
And when I go to a football game or anything like that, I don't yell. Do you take care of your instrument?
Yeah. It's been interesting because I have a kind of clear tone, which
Yes,
is
you do.
great for
Yes.
lots of things, but it's not so great when they want some like super tough, intense female like warrior. I'm not in that mode.
Yeah, you have a little
right
too much
now.
Bambi in there.
Yeah, it's a little too much like mushroom in a tree. Like that's
Yeah.
where we're living right now, as
Yeah.
opposed to that. So I'm kind of excited to maybe, I don't know what's going to happen as I get older. I'm assuming it's going to continue to drop.
gonna be fun.
Texture will happen. So maybe in like 15, years, then I'll be ready to like play a warrior in a video game. but till then, we'll just be dancing fairies in a forest. That's like kind of where my head's at. But yeah, I don't really smoke. I don't at all. I don't know why I said I don't really. I don't. As soon as somebody smokes cigarette smoke around me specifically, I just like at my throat, close up my nose. I can't.
You
I
too,
have
huh?
to leave the
Me
area.
too.
It's so crazy how sensitive I am.
Yeah.
It's a little better in Europe, but it still hits. I'm like, man, it just like punches the back of my everything.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And then weed is, I guess, around, and I don't know, I'm a little more used to it, and it's a little less accosting, but if it's too much, I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I
Well,
gotta
yeah.
keep this clear.
I'm the same way. I can thank/blame my dad because he smoked all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and he would smoke in the bathtub.
Oh.
I go, okay, Dad, you're
It's a
really
little
overachieving.
poetic, but okay.
You're really working hard here.
Yeah.
That's, because I have to pee and I have to come, I have to go like that to find the,
Get through the smoke.
So God, where did it all go wrong? We're talking about my dad in the bathtub.
This is what podcasts
Can we
are for.
just-
That's the point.
Are you
This is-
sure?
Yes.
Okay,
This is
so
what
it's all
we're
right.
supposed to talk about. Aside from that, I luckily, I guess, did not have to deal with smoke in the bathroom. My mom,
Dad in the
nobody,
bathtub.
yeah,
Done.
crossed that off the checklist for today. And I don't know. I guess I started singing. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
sing, yes. And so I started singing when I was like 5 or 6. So vocal
Oh,
warm-ups and breath support and all that. And then I danced. So like I had to get used to the cardio of dancing and lasting
okay.
for, 5-6 minutes in a dance number, especially for musical theater if you're dancing and singing. So there's been a
That's
lot
true.
of vocal attention for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, at like conventions, I mean, I've talked to some other voice actors that are like, oh, conventions always wear me out. I always lose my voice. I'm like, what are you doing?
What?
What part of your throat are
No,
you
yeah,
killing? You're not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
You should replace that. What are you doing?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's crazy. So I'm grateful. I usually feel just fine talking after 3 days, 4 days, whatever, to a bunch of people. I don't know. I make a lot of weird noises when I'm alone. I don't know if you find that or if your wife can attest to this. But as a voice actor, I realize I make a lot of strange noises just to see if I can copy them, if I've still got it. You know, if a bird makes a weird noise, I'm kind of like, and I just like walk around my house making these strange noises because I just like to see if I have it. So yeah, that's how I take care of my voice. No smoking. I don't really drink. Tea, sleep,
we
water.
quit being so perfect.
Yeah, no.
Give me a complex over here.
Glad we're giving that off. Yeah, well, let's run with that. Yes, I have it all together.
Yeah. Send your cards and letters in to
Yes.
puff up your pillow and dream.
So you knew you wanted to be an actor, a voice actor from a really young age.
Kind of. Yeah. I just wanted to work as soon as possible, and acting was a fun way to do that. I don't know if that's just because I'm an only child, single mom. We moved out to LA when I was 4. Oh. And I was just kind of sitting around, and like she had 2 jobs,
well, you were
3
4.
jobs.
There's no sense lazing around.
Correct.
Might as well get up and go to work.
Exactly. I'm like, can I like bag groceries at Ralph's? Like, can I do something? I like went into Ralph's and I was like, hello, I'd be a great bag girl. They're like, you're 5.
Yeah.
You have to come back in 9 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's too long. And then a friend of mine was in a commercial and I was like, oh, hey, can I do that? And my mom's like, let's just see. And she put me in a musical and I was obsessed. And she was like, okay, let's get some headshots and try to do the thing. And
that's great.
We knocked on doors the first round. Just went to agencies with my little headshot and just like, hello, is anyone in and able to take a meeting?
Hello, I'm incredibly cute. What do you think? You know?
Would you like to rep me? Would you like to send me out on any auditions? You can't do that anymore. The whole knocking on doors thing, they probably will not answer. But yeah, it was a different
They're not
time.
in there anyway.
No, exactly. They're at home on a Zoom call.
Yes.
So yeah, that's how I got started. I thought I was only doing it short term. I wanted to be a doctor. So
really?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a good like part-time gig.
Wow. Yeah, well, you know, having a
no big deal.
MD behind your name is a nice
cool
thing
sometimes.
To fall back on.
Yeah, right? So
and there's always your brain surgery that you could go back to if need be.
If need be, yeah.
Oh gosh,
that
that's
didn't.
amazing.
Lots of things changed along the way, but it was it was a short-term thing. I was like, ooh, I'm just gonna do lots of acting really fast when I'm a kid, and then I'll stop when I get to like middle high school and focus on science and math and saving people. Yeah, that was
wow. See, that's kind of the opposite path, because everybody said, well, all right, well, I'll do this, but I'm really going to be an actress. I'm going to be a singer. You know, and were you heavy into theater?
I was.
I used to be.
Yeah, big into theater. In fact, I think I was maybe in a little bit of a denial phase in high school because I was, studying a lot of math and science, but I was in musicals and plays constantly. I was in dance class. I was in choir. I was in a cappella. So I kept doing all these performing arts things. And then I was like, oh, but it's not all going to be forever.
Well, yeah. Well, see, so you failed into show business, which is the exact opposite of what most people do. There I was stuck. I was doing surgery and
we only made it to the first semester of college before that dropped away. The pre-med dropped away very quickly.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, I don't think this is going to work.
And was that because you were getting work or just the passion had left or what?
Yeah, someone, there were 9 of us, I don't remember, freshman dorm assignments, but they put a bunch of pre-med people together. And I don't know, I just had like this block against signing up for this one biology class. I was like, I'm so tired from high school and I just graduated and I just got here and I'm like, it's a lot.
I'm so tired from high school.
Well, I went to...
There's a line.
Yeah, a pretty intense the kind of college preppy high school with a bunch of APs. And so I was working my butt off in high school. But then I came home one day and she was like really upset. And we were like, oh, what happened? She's like, oh my gosh, like there was a pop quiz today and like I only got a 93. And I was like, oh, you're upset about an A-. I don't think I'm going to survive here. If I
Yeah, we don't want any of those 93s.
Yeah, no, it's so bad. A-, just
Yeah,
so.
good news is I never had a made it to a 93, but it was because it was on this side. With 39s,
No,
I was pretty good at getting a 39. 93, not so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I got kind of intimidated out of it, and I was burnt out from just working too hard in high school. I was trying to do everything all at once.
Yeah.
Everything everywhere all at once. quite literally.
Academically.
Yeah. And just socially, I was trying to like perform and do the academics and like do all the extracurriculars. And it was just like too much. I couldn't do it all.
Yeah.
And college really slaps you in the face, especially if you go to like an overachiever kind of high school. And then you go into college being like, ooh, like I've got everything together. And then everyone else has also done that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, there's not room for all of these activities and all of these people to do all of these activities.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. So
You needed to be twins.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
that would have been awesome. But yeah, it kind of just fell away. And I was like, now I don't know what I'm doing, because this was like the whole directive that I was working towards. And I took a theater class kind of just as a backup. And then I found a screenwriting class actually that I really liked. And then I took another one, and then I took another one and another one. They're like, you must be a major now if you'd like to keep taking these screenwriting classes. And I was like, oh, well, then I guess
now
I'm going to double major and do film too. So there we go. So we did theater and film.
Now, what was the first time you stepped on stage?
I was 5,
What was
I believe.
it? Can you?
Oliver.
Really?
Gosh. I was just an orphan. I wasn't anything. That was just, my mom put me in that to be like, are you sure you want to be a performer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just one of the orphans, food, glorious food, big cast of little kids holding their bowls in that big number. What was the name of the group? It was like just children's theater group, I think.
Yeah.
It was like a local.
Yeah,
you had
that's
to
how
kind
it
of
was for me.
Pay to play a little bit, but it was like a good experience, professional, whatever. And it wasn't like they were gouging you for money. You just were paying for like your costume and your food and whatever. And it was a great experience. And then I ended up, I think I did we do Meet Me in St. No. My mom and I were in Meet Me in St. Louis, Meet Me in St. Louis, together at Glendale Center Theater.
Oh, how cool was that?
I was Tootie when I was 6 or 7. I think it was like a non-union production, and she was in the ensemble. Yeah. And so that was a really, really good experience, playing like a lead at that age after doing like the Oliver stuff. There was a big test moment of my professionalism, I guess. One night there was about to be a slightly cringe moment. There was a quick transition. The lights are down. Everyone's supposed to get to their places, and the lights come up. I was fiddle-faddling backstage doing something and was running a little late. We still do that to this day. Some things don't change. Anyway, and so I was like, ooh, I got to get to my spot. And so I kind of like made sure all my costume pieces were on, and I like kind of slid into my spot like on my knees, and there was a nail, thankfully a nail head, not the point, but a nail head sticking up in the wooden floor, and it just went like right across my knee, and the lights came up literally right after that happened, and so I just had to be like
perfect.
Just, like, play the scene as there's like blood running down
Oh my gosh. I could just imagine this poor little thing.
Yeah, but I was really proud of myself in that moment. And that's when I knew like I could be like an actor, because I just did the scene, we figured
The
it
show
out.
must go on.
Yeah, exactly. And I was, 6, 7 years old, whatever. And I was like, do the scene. And then we finish, and then we figure it out. So
And you hobbled off stage.
yeah. We changed my tights and fixed it and whatever.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I started in Oliver, and then I can't remember if I started in commercials before I did Meet Me in St. Louis, or if I did Meet Me in St. Louis before I started, because commercials is where I really started acting. And then I got into voice acting after the commercials started.
On camera, what was the first product you sold us?
Barbie.
Got out of town.
Yep. The first thing
What
I
a
booked was
shock.
a Mattel commercial.
So you were one of the
International.
cute little girls sitting there on the and now here's Action Barbie, and or whatever. There was a lot of Barbies.
There were a lot of Barbies. I was promoting one that didn't particularly take off too well. It was called Dream Glow Barbie, and it was supposed to be a
Dream
Barbie
Glow.
that you could cuddle with. So her body was soft, but her forearms and her head were still hard. So she was squishy, but with very pokey hands still. like
and,
a
and
hard
they were
head.
like this, right? Because I
Yeah,
remember I had a GI
the
Joe.
little hands, you know.
Yeah.
And so there was a whole song. It was very fun. I jumped into pillows. Dream glow Barbie, so soft and sweet. And
I swear I remember that
turned on
commercial.
like a little lamp, and it was like, she glows. And I went, it was very exciting.
Did you say grows or glows?
Glows.
She grows.
Glows. She grows. Different kind of Barbie.
Barbie
Chia Pet collaboration.
Yeah, she's
like
a
the
dinosaur.
Stay Puft Marshmallow guy coming
Yeah.
to get you. Oh
So
my God, that's
Barbie
insane.
in theater. Yeah, that was
That's
the
pretty darn
beginning.
cool.
And I loved Britney Spears. It was like the Britney Spears era, and I
sure,
was
yeah.
obsessed with her. And it's funny because my mom was pretty strict. Like, she didn't let me watch like PG rated movies until
wow.
I was like in high school. Like, she didn't want me to watch The Lion King because it was like violent. And she was like, this is too heavy for you. We're going to wait. Because I was
Okay, now I'm pissed.
so
Mom.
yeah, but I mean, we got there eventually.
Okay.
And so it was just funny because so much was filtered, but Britney Spears somehow wasn't.
No, I don't think she is to this day. She's
No.
She has no filter.
And I don't know why. I think it was really a violence thing that my mom was worried about, like then like cursing and violence. She just didn't like that kind of negativity. So the like kind of sensual female thing, she was like not as affected by. Don't know why, but whatever. And so, I mean, she's why I have my belly button pierced to this day. I got it for my 22nd birthday for
Barbie
myself.
or Britney?
Britney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not Barbie. But I used to sing "Oops, I Did It Again" to just strangers on the street and be like, "Do you want to hear me sing?"
Yeah.
And how could they say no?
Oops,
Why,
I did
yes,
it again.
Pumpkin, please.
Let's hear it.
Come on.
At 7. Oh gosh. Oh God, no. Again.
Okay.
You got to do an imitation
Okay,
of
you
Britney. I
gotta
know
do
you
it.
have one.
I definitely have sung along.
Can I do Oops,
the
I Did It
car.
Again? I'll do a beat to that.
You do it, yeah.
I'm trying to think of
Jim Cummings. He's gonna drop his mixtape, guys. That's the whole point of the podcast. How does the chorus even go?
I'm going to keep doing this.
I did it again. I played with your. I don't even remember how it goes.
No, keep
Got
going. That
lost
was
in
good.
the game. Oh baby, baby, ooh, you think you're in love? That I'm sent from above. I'm not that innocent. Something like that. Yeah, in 7-year-old voice, me doing that. But
Well, yeah, your voice is so deep now.
yeah, so it's funny.
There's dogs outside going, what do you want?
Yeah.
What? I'm right here.
She's calling me from
Yeah.
inside. Yeah, it can get a little better. There's one song. Is it Toxic or Hit Me Baby One More Time? There's one more song that like my voice kind of matches hers a little bit better. But yeah, that was my audition song for lots of things.
And it got
funny.
and what were you auditioning for with that, by the way?
There were some movies at the time that like required singing. Some theater things that like asked for like a contemporary like pop song or something. I would
Sure,
just
yeah.
use that as my audition song. And I would just have it on as an extra skill, even if I was just auditioning for like a TV show or a commercial. I would be like,
yeah.
I sing, and they're like, oh, you
Can't
sing,
hurt.
like
It
sing
can't
something.
hurt.
Would just sing. Oops, I did it.
Yeah.
They were gonna do a little like biopic kind of movie of her life, and I did get cast as like a young Britney.
Oh, wow.
And we like read through the pilot, and there was a whole table read, and I jumped on the table and like sang and did my thing, and then
cut your hair
the
off.
project got
No.
dropped. It was kind of around the head shaving incident, so I have a feeling her PR team was probably like, we're
We're gonna wait.
not
maybe
do this,
Do it
so-
next year,
Yeah.
maybe.
yeah,
She,
I don't know.
She sure keeps that PR team busy these days.
She does. You know what? Good for her. I am still on her side forever. I am a forever Britney stan.
Oh well, there you go.
I've been from day one. Will be till I'm gone. Yeah,
Nice.
that girl went through so many things. I mean,
Leave Britney alone.
Yeah, leave Britney alone.
Yeah.
Britney and like Hillary Duff are really just like certain levels of fame and recognition that like some people, I mean, Marilyn Monroe had to deal with like some versions of that, sure.
Oh,
but
boy,
like
yeah.
they just made so many strides in the industry. Like Hillary Duff was the first one to do like, oh, I'm on a TV show and I'm doing an album and touring and I have a fashion line and I have like she was the one to like do all of that.
She was a one-man band.
Yeah. And Britney was, I mean, choreographing, I know everyone's like judging all these fun like Instagram videos, but she was doing all these spins and twirls way back then. She was choreographing half of the stuff herself and just playing in the studio.
Well, she was a Mouseketeer, right? She and Justin Timberlake.
And Ryan
weren't
Gosling.
they in the same? Oh yeah. Were they in the same?
I think so.
Group?
Yeah, they were on the
I
same
didn't know
crew.
that.
So she was creating stuff and had to deal with all sorts of madness. The fact that she even made it out of where she came from to be so big is just crazy.
It must be hard to be that famous that young.
Yeah, and have not a lot of people really on your side. They're just like,
And nobody
great.
really understand. Like there's
There's
a
no
couple
way.
people in the world that could
Maybe.
truly
Like
understand.
Cher.
Yeah.
Kind of, maybe.
Yeah.
Madonna. Like,
She was even 19ish.
Yeah,
She was 9.
Yeah.
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 You
She's
know,
so
big
young.
gap there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So anyway, big Britney stan.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I used to. I know. I apparently, and I can't remember the bus driver of all people. A million years ago, we're getting a ride from the airport. Oh, by the way, going into New Orleans, Britney Spears lives over here, and so just thought I'd let you know, or came from there.
Oh,
and it was at the one the Huey P. Long Bridge in New Orleans, Kenner, Louisiana. Not quite New Orleans, but she was close.
Did you have any obsessions like music? I don't know, artists, actors that were just like little beacons
I'm so old
of light?
that Annette Funicello was. I was a Disney. There's a picture of me that people drag out every now and then to either embarrass or celebrate me. I'm not sure, but I'm about 4 or 5, and they took me to Sears Roebuck back then, and you took your little weasel to Sears and had them take pictures.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there with my Mickey Mouse Club T-shirt on. So, you know, and I've seen it pop up at a convention or two here and there when I'm doing a panel or whatever, and it's kind of fun. And so I guess I've been in the Disney fold for a long time. I mean, now, and when, was there a time, did you ever think you would do anything other than what, you know, into the showbiz thing? Or, because for me, I kind of always knew I wanted to do something like this.
Yeah. Well, that's why, I mean, the pre-med doctor moment was a little confusing to unplug, and then I wasn't sure if I should like come back to it or if I meant, you know, was I
and
just
your parents
supposed to
were not
revert?
happy that you...
No, my mom just wanted me to be happy. I deep down felt like I needed to, you know, do something, law, medicine, something to kind of like be like, oh, I'm so proud of my daughter. But she has stated multiple times, and I mean, she wouldn't have supported me as a kid if she didn't believe this. She's like, I just wanted you to be successful and happy in whatever it is you're doing. I didn't need you to be this, you know, check this certain box of a career to be whatever. She's like, I just wanted you to be well-educated and know what you were doing and be doing it well.
That's fair.
That's what it was.
That's not bad.
So no, she wasn't surprised. No one was surprised when I was like, oh, I think I'm staying in like the arts. And everyone was like, this is not surprising to us. You've been doing this since you were 5. And I was like, but I thought I was going to be this thing. So it took a while for me to just like accept it. And it's probably the fear thing of like, just, you know, there is no lean back on. I was like, oh, maybe I should go back and like, I don't know, get a business degree or get a law degree just to have it. And I'm like, but for what? Like for what purpose am I doing this? And even some people go back to grad school for like a drama school or like do a drama program. And if you're doing it abroad, like in London or something, like that's kind of different because that's like a different market, a different teaching style.
Yeah, and you can justify that.
And I did like a little summer Shakespeare program in London, which was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
But here it's like, I think Meryl Streep has talked about this, how like acting experience is life experience. Like you just go live, go do, go exist, like experience things and then like live in them fully and authentically. And that's the best lesson you're going to get. I mean, drama school is great for networking, getting like a new pool of people, but I don't know, we're all, if you're a performer, you're a performer.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So it took like, honestly, the last couple of years since they put Avatar on Netflix. And I kept like, I don't know, tiptoeing around like, maybe I should do these other things. And I'm just like, Michaela, you like creative things and performing. I love really what the crux of it is just I love a good story. Like I love a good story. Anytime I meet two people, especially because I'm at that era in my life when I meet two people who've been married for like 45 years. I'm like, how did you meet? What was the toughest part? What was the moment where you were like, I don't know, and then you're like, no, this is the person for me. Like I want to know all the details. And then somebody's outfit, they're like, oh yeah, like I made this. I'm like, you made it? Tell me everything. Like, where is this fabric from? Why are you sewing your own clothes? Did your mom start? Like, I want to know the story.
I made these shorts.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, they're amazing.
Yeah. He's a clothing designer. Would you believe it? It's true.
Tell me everything.
I mean, you look at him and you think, okay, football player, as an actor, singer, clothing designer? No. But yeah, it's true. It's true. C's Dreams. We might as well get a plug going.
Yeah.
Good old C's Dreams.
Good old C's Dreams. And by the way,
check
it's
us out.
SEAS. That kind of C's, not like, AB.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. On your IMDb, you're listed as additional crew for Finding Nemo and Night at the Museum. What is that role?
Yes. So
How is it crew?
I don't know why that is, but it's voices. It's additional voices.
Oh, that's okay.
IMDb, who knows? I don't know how things get on
Maybe
there.
it was a nautical kind of crew.
Perhaps.
Perchance.
Yeah, because I was at sea. I don't know. But Finding Nemo was my first voiceover gig. So there we go. We've touched on all the first.
Wow,
all the first. So it was Oliver for theater.
Poor thing. A major motion picture was your first.
So sad. It's such a tough beginning. But yeah, that was my first gig. Which additional voices. There was like 10 of us, in a booth, doing all the voices of the baby turtles and the baby fish, and just like, let's go swimming. What's over there? Like all that background stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of my voiceover career, which was mostly background work for a number of years, and like looping ADR stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That was
I know a lot of people
beginning.
that are into that. They,
I was in a flow for a second. There was like a group of kids that got kind of used a lot for any time. They're like, oh, we need kids, range of ages 6, 7 to like 13, whatever. And there was just this big group of kids that just people got pulled from. And so there was like a little moment of just me doing a ton of additional voice. So same thing with Night at the Museum, Son of the Mask, I guess Son of the Mask 2, one of those, Spider-Man 2.
Were you in that as well? You did voices for the Mask as well, didn't you, Jim?
Did you?
Yes.
Son of the Mask?
I did a voice, I think.
One of them.
In I think it was in like the first, the one on television.
Okay.
And I was a Norwegian organ grinder.
Wow. Well, that's fancy. I think I did baby noises for the baby in the second movie. There was like crying and screaming.
Norwegian baby? No.
I can't recall. Can't recall that detail. Maybe.
I was thinking because my organ grinder. There's a joke in there somewhere. Anyway, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So it's very fun. Actually, one of my fun ADR memories. If you remember, Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. TBT.
I love that movie.
And one of Emma Stone's early movies that I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily know about, but it was a good movie.
It was really good.
And there's this one basement scene. There's like high schoolers having a party in like the 70s, 80s, something like that. And Emma and one of the guys, they're like making out along the back wall and just like kind of rolling over each other before they kind of like fall into a bedroom. And they like needed to redub the makeout sounds. And so they're like, okay, like who wants to do like the kissing noises? I thought this would be like a popular thing. Everyone would want to do this fun, silly little moment. And so I just like threw my hand up, and then I realized I was the only one who was like so excited
So you're going to
do these makeouts. So I aggressively made out with my arm at like
I knew that was coming.
9 years old, just for, the sake of the film. So, just silly things like that.
So they had a 9-year-old doing makeout sounds for adults in the film.
They were like 14, like early high school, freshman, sophomore in high school.
This is with Matthew McConaughey, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So funny. Maybe
Not a bad co-star for you.
I don't know. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Very impressive. So those are funny little memories from ADR stuff. So funny.
Ouch. Well, let's see. What else do we have here?
Yeah, so we crossed off your dad in the bathtub. what else is on the list.
Yeah, well, I don't want to leave anything out. Well, I know we talked about me doing Avatar.
Did you ever see M. Night Shyamalan's rendition of Avatar?
Ooh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, there was a funny poster that somebody brought at a convention once that had a picture of Judy from Ba Sing Se, but then the print on the poster just said there is no movie in Ba Sing Se, which I thought was pretty funny. I was like, oh, that's clever. Good job, fandom. That's funny.
Well, now, what is the craziest thing you've ever had to sign? Because, boy, I get some interesting ones.
People's bodies that then they get tattooed, those are the pretty intense ones. I'm like, Michaela, remember the letters. Like, remember the letters of your name and make sure that they look pretty.
Yeah.
Somebody had me do it in green, went and got it done that same day, and then brought it back the afternoon. And I was like, that is commitment. So that was the most pressure.
Yeah. I've had that once or twice, and I don't know what to think about that.
I've signed an actual cabbage, like one that was definitely going to go bad in like a day or two. But they just really wanted that cabbage signed. So I was like, by all means, I will sign it. Somebody had like autograph pants. So they were like white jeans. And so they just had everybody pick a spot.
Cool.
But the only spot left really was like on the butt. So I was like, lean over. Just, this is the open real
On the
estate.
butt, Bob.
Gotta do there.
But seriously.
Yeah, skin,
Ba-dum-bum.
butts, cabbages. I've signed a melon. Melon Lord. So that was fun.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, those have been like the more kooky ones, and everything else is very cute. Like people bring teacups or their DVD sets or their cosplay. They make their own boomerang or they bring their Appa plushie. Those are all pretty normal.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Have you ever signed a pot of honey?
Her or me?
You?
No,
I have not.
Have you ever signed a pot of honey? No, I have. Yeah, a few of them.
Yeah.
People will bring little jars of honey.
Cute.
And there is a little bear out there somewhere, and I don't know what kind it is. I mean, what brand it is of honey. Campbell's Soup. I don't know who it is, but it's a little bear, and it is not Winnie the Pooh, but it's a bear, and so I've had to sign those.
Yeah. We used to have those little
what I'm
honey
talking
bears
about?
at home. Yeah.
Yeah, you see them at Perkins Pancake House.
Yeah.
or pancake places.
Yeah.
You go there and you get
You get the little bear. Yep, makes a little sound.
Yeah, so
So funny.
yeah, and I make the sound too, so that I come full circle.
When I was younger, I
that's good.
couldn't say bear yet because I loved honey, and I would refer to the
And
bear.
you couldn't say bear.
So I said beer. So I was like, beer,
Oh.
beer. I want beer. And everyone would
I
laugh.
say that now.
And everyone would laugh. And then some people who did not know, they were like, what? She was like, the honey bear. She wants honey. She
They're
was
calling
like,
child
this
services.
Is the beer. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Well, speaking of things to sign, when I first met you, I met Jim at Sci-Fi Valley Con in Pennsylvania. I think it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I can't remember. And I was a big Winnie the Pooh fan growing up. That was one of the things I was allowed to watch from the mother.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, that passed the
You
rating.
clearly, you were raised correctly.
And I had all the kind of old VHSs that had like 2 or 3 kind of
Oh, sure.
episodes.
Yeah.
The color coordinated. Yeah.
Yeah.
All in. Pooh's Grand Adventure, the whole thing. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited to like meet Jim. And I was like, oh, do I want to get something signed? I was then like presented with the question of like the other side, and I was like, wait, maybe I just want a picture. Maybe I'm just going to talk to him. Maybe I do want something signed. What do I want to get signed?
Yeah.
Do I want a picture, like a print, or do I want to bring something? And then I was like having this whole moment, and it just like was so funny. I ended up going to Target. I was just clearly having a moment because I was very excited to meet him, and I found this shirt at Target. And the reason I brought it was not just because of what's on the front, but because you actually did sign it. It's on the back. So
Oh, look at
this is
that.
what I got.
Oh, get out of here. Oh, yeah, sure.
This is what I got.
I remember, and I took my time. Notice how Oh Bother is really
It's really crisp. Yeah.
It's really crisp.
And fabric
Thank
is
you.
hard. So like
Yes.
you have to be careful with the markers on fabric or else it gets messy real
And
fast.
I didn't misspell my name
No,
or
you didn't.
anything.
You didn't. But I was like, I want a shirt. Okay, this was what I decided on. So
I thought I recognized that
I
shirt.
went through the options.
Wow.
And I actually have only worn it like once. I'm very careful with it, obviously, because I don't want to get it worn on the back. So
Yeah, and I often wondered, because I do sign a lot of those, and I think, well, okay, I figured that's good for like one wear, and then maybe hang it on a hanger and put it in the backyard let it get blown in the wind.
Yep.
Okay, it's clean again.
Yep.
Then you bring it back in about 3 weeks later. Hopefully it didn't rain.
Yep.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's
this
clean
works.
again.
Febreze it a little. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess you could Febreze it around. Because I'm thinking, I can't imagine that surviving a laundry.
No, I think there's some like gentle. If you do a gentle cold cycle, maybe. But I also don't sweat too much. So, like, worst case, you could just wash the underarms by hand.
And you can get that stuff where you just spray. You just spray it on the clothes and then it, takes away the odor and cleans it.
That's true.
Yeah. I have a story about getting a shirt signed. I got a shirt signed by Tony Hawk. It was the only thing I've ever got signed.
Yeah.
My dad took me to this thing called the Boom Boom Huck Jam. It was in
what a name.
2004.
Boom, boom,
I was like 12 or 13 years old. And he got us like these fancy passes and everything. And we did like a meet and greet with Tony Hawk afterwards. And I just liked him because of the video games. He had those Tony Hawk's Pro Skater video games. And I thought we would just like talk to him. Yeah. And I had never done one of these like meet and greets before. And so we're all in this like locker room in BC Place. It was in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And Tony Hawk's just like making his rounds and like signing something for everybody and like saying like 2 sentences to them and, like, oh, thanks for coming out. And I was like, that whole like world was so new to me. It was like the first experience I've ever had. I was like, why would I want something signed? Like, it just didn't make sense to me.
Why?
Like, why do I want this? Like, it's cool to meet you, but like, I don't want anything signed.
I get some of those people still too.
So I had this like And One shirt on. You remember that company And One?
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, sure, like sign this. And I remember going to school like the next day or I don't know, on the Monday afterwards. Yeah. And people were like, who signed your shirt? And I was like, Tony Hawk. And they were like, oh, liar. And I was like,
oh, no.
You're like, bro.
I didn't even think it was like a big deal.
It's real.
And I played basketball on that thing. I washed it. And eventually the signature faded off.
I was about to ask you, do you still have it?
I don't still have it. No, it's somewhere at Goodwill somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Some
it's
kids
interesting.
going, look.
Like, I don't know. I think fan like autograph culture has just gotten so interesting.
Yeah.
Like it existed in kind of 80s when like rock stars like it was around.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like things are like cherished more because a lot of the t-shirts that you get from like old concerts and old band t-shirt whatever are pretty worn. Like people wore them a lot of the time. People weren't just like keeping things pristine to like pass down to their children or like sell. They were wearing the autographed shirt. Like it's just so interesting that I feel like I
just found out not long ago we were talking to Miley Flanagan over the weekend and I didn't even know that they didn't used to at conventions they didn't charge for autographs.
Yeah.
And it's like a fairly recent thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I don't know where. I'm sure somebody's done the research. I haven't yet, but like the drop off of like good residuals and then the increase of like needing to charge at conventions. I'm like, where is the
I'm sure that correlates
where
somehow.
does that line happen?
I'm sure
because
it does.
I'm pretty sure that's kind of why.
Yeah.
You're
The
like,
universe is taking care of us after all.
yeah,
Maybe.
kind of. It's
Sort
like
of.
We just have to go like work to get our residuals now.
And then like even with like the podcast, like YouTube and like social media is almost like another replacement of like residuals, because people find the videos like there's like little clips that we've done like way in the beginning and they still,
Still getting
every
attention.
time I open social media, you see comments and, people leaving like little, and it was like a long time ago, but I compare it to like music, you say we release this episode, right?
Yeah.
People might not find it for a little while. Like when, say Doja Cat comes out with a song today, we probably won't hear it, on the radio for like maybe close to a year. It takes time to like percolate and, kind of get pushed by the algorithm,
people.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's been interesting doing this podcast, how things that are old are new again. And
things evolve. Oh, God, yeah.
Like I used to watch Mythbusters a lot growing up, and now they have like a YouTube channel of Mythbusters, and it's all just recycled stuff from the show,
Yep.
It's new to people, new to this
New way to consume it,
young
new way to
audience.
find it.
Well, that's what I used to say about Winnie the Pooh. There's a new generation of Pooh fans about once every 3 or 4 years. Because it takes, by the time you're 3 or 4, you're going, Pooh, Pooh, and I can tell because we go to these conventions and they're pointing in, and and I'll do Winnie the Pooh or something for little ones in their little carriage, and they're looking around going, "Where the hell's Pooh?"
Yeah. Where is he?
Who's this weird looking dude over here? Quit looking at me. Quit sounding like Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. Go away. And I'm traumatizing them. Ah, he ate Pooh. I don't know.
I love that one little girl last weekend. She's sitting in they have those little wagons that they drag them around in.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there and Jim does the Pooh voice. Yeah. And she looks up. She has her little iPad and she looks up and just looks back down like.
This is like, no.
Like nothing connected for her.
Yeah, my
really
parents
funny.
are conning me, and how cruel, making me think that Winnie the Pooh was here, and it's just some goofy old man up here Touretting away.
Well, that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like it would be weirder if you were like a 35-year-old woman or something. You know what I mean?
True.
Like this
Well, there's
seems
plenty
a
of
little
that
more,
around.
right?
Well, every young boy
Speaking of
in
Miley
cartoons
Brennan,
are 30, 40-year-old, 50-year-old
Yes.
women.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm like, at least I feel grateful. Like Toph, my main character from Avatar, is like 12 and kind of tomboyish. Now I'm not 12, but at least I'm kind of like a petite chick, who kind of matches that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So then it kind of works. I feel like I'm always thrown when I'm like, whoa, you're this. Whoa, okay. My brain is recalibrating.
Yeah. Well, Nancy Cartwright's not really an 11-year-old boy.
No, she's not.
But boy, she's glad that she sounds like one.
Yeah. Her kids, speaking of, her kids went to where I went to high school.
Oh.
I think her kids were in elementary school or middle school or something when I was in high school. And
Where did you go to high school?
went to Buckley.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little school in the valley. There's a lot of these little, Harvard Westlake, Oakwood, whatever kind of places. So yeah, there were lots of industry kids that were coming in and out of Buckley. So, but yeah, Nancy Cartwright, she was one of the cooler people. People didn't really care about Avatar when I was there. Some people watched it, some people thought it was cool, but Nancy Cartwright was cooler. So there were bigger names on campus than me.
Well, I loved the animation.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the way things look, and I just thought it was great. The whole look of it. It was so arid, and it was such a cool. The whole thing was different. There were no, cute little talking bears or anything like that.
Unfortunately.
Misfortunately, that's right. But I just thought it looked great. I'm still
show.
into that. Yeah.
It's a very pretty show.
Very cool.
I've appreciated Avatar a lot more as I've gotten older. Not that I had a complete disregard for it, but I was 12 with no cable TV, and I was like, oh, this looks really pretty, and cool characters. This is a cool recording experience. Okay, cool. I gotta have a math test tomorrow. It was just different.
Okay.
Time.
Ready.
And I didn't watch the whole series all the way through, kind of start to finish, after I was done recording till college, maybe junior year or so. And I was like, I guess I should sit down and watch this again. It's been a second. And I was like, where do I even find this? I guess I'll go to Target and get the DVD set. I was like, I don't even know where I'm supposed to get this. So
Well, everything is somewhere.
yeah, everything's somewhere. So
Everything is somewhere.
finally found
Definitely
it.
these days.
But now, I mean, every time I rewatch it, there's something that I can pick up on that I didn't quite
good.
catch the first time, or something that hits a little bit deeper, or just a new perspective. I mean, there's all sorts of little asides for the adults watching the show, which is why it's absolutely an all ages show that is kids friendly. But it's not just for kids. There's plenty in there.
Yeah.
There's plenty in there for the adults.
Yeah. That's the best writing.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's so good. Mike and Brian are very talented and good at what they do. And now they have a whole plethora of new content that they're creating, which is awesome. So
Perfect.
I'm assuming that they're in their happy little wonderland. They're like, okay, we just get to keep making stuff, creating little worlds, creating new character trajectories.
As long as they keep hiring you.
Well,
we'll
see.
there's that.
Fingers crossed. That part I'm not in charge of at all, unfortunately. But I can take notes from them as far as how they created, and I don't know. I did get a degree in screenwriting, so perhaps it's
you may
time
end
to
up being able to use that after all, right?
build my own little. What does my world look like? What is my avatar? Not really, but
Right.
kind of. So we'll see. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I was dangerously close to going to college because I was in.
It would have been very dangerous.
Very dangerously close. I was in speech tournaments as a kid, junior in high school, and I did really well in humorous interpretation. And Otterbein College, and it was the only day, I'm telling you, of my high school career that I ever brought in the mail. Nobody was sending me mail. And I brought it in, and Otterbein College, and it was addressed to me, and I opened it up. And it was an offer to come down and have my parents drive me down because I lived in Youngstown. Okay. Otterbein was in Columbus, next to Ohio State. It was the other university that was in Columbus, Ohio. And it was, we're very interested in your son, blah, 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 because he's this and that and the other thing, and that's all we're all about that. And so come on down. We're actually thinking of offering him a scholarship. And the whole, and I burned it. I didn't just throw it away. I lit it on fire. And I said, if my parents ever saw this, I'd be going to college. And I knew I was not going to be going to college. Because, well, I knew everything I wanted to do. I wanted to sing. I wanted to play drums. And I did. And I wanted to do this since I was 5 years old, the animated voices. So I figured if they distract me from that, from my lifelong dream, I don't want to be an attorney. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm glad they're out there, sort of. but I just don't want to join the club. Yeah. I'd rather hang out with you.
Well, there you go. But in my brain, I wanted to do both because I knew I liked this stuff. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I also, for some reason, again, maybe it's the only child, single mom. Sure. It's like this stability.
You have to have something to fall back on.
But like I wanted to go to prom. Like I wanted to go to college just to like go to college. I wanted to like be in a sorority. I wanted to like be in, I wanted to like do the kind
stuff
of like the stuff.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, college is always there, blah. But like it's different. Like it is different when you're 16 going to semi-formal. And then when you're 19 and you're doing like freshman orientation. Like I just wanted to do those things. They sounded fun to me. And I like learning.
Were you in a sorority?
I was.
Which one?
Kappa Kappa Gamma.
Kappa Kappa Gamma.
Kappa Kappa Gamma. Kappa Kappa game time.
It sounds like some sort of chant, Kappa Kappa Gamma.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit of that. But it's funny because at my college, the a cappella groups were more of a Greek life than the actual Greek life because we're so nerdy and artsy. The a cappella, I think we had more a cappella houses for a second than we did. No, that's a lie. But it was pretty on par. There were like 4 or 5 like a cappella houses that like a cappella groups like lived in. It was like a thing. It was so funny.
So it was like what was that?
Pitch Perfect.
That Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, it was kind of a real thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So it's so fun. I mean, I guess technically, I don't know how much they pulled from. Oh, I don't think I said it. So I went to Yale University, and one of their biggest a cappella groups is called the Whiffin Poofs. They're like an all-male group. They started in like 19...
Long time ago, right?
Long time ago, over 100 years old. But a lot of like a cappella lore comes from that group because they like travel, they like wear suits and like have like little syncopated choreography like with the songs they sing. It's like a whole performance thing. And I don't know how much of that was like influence or inspiration for some of the stuff in Pitch Perfect because I know there was some sort of that.
Oh, it's got to be. But
yeah, it's just a cappella was like a moment in 2013, 2014. It was peak.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was
that's pretty cool.
So yeah, I wanted
music
to
is music, right?
experience it. Yeah, I wanted to go do that. In my head, I was like, oh well, Hollywood's like always there, but I'm only going to be 19 and like matriculating into like a university once ish. Yeah. I don't know why. I was so.
Did you ever play music or sing for Monet? Like as in make your living or in a band or
I sang
fill
with
in the blank?
Cover band in New York for a while, and we made some money. We played some pretty fun venues. We played at Bowery Electric and this place called Red Lion, which is just a fun music venue. This like jazz bar, but we did not play jazz. Called Session 73 on the Upper East Side. We played at this big, it's super cool venue called Steve and Talk House. It's pretty popular out in the Hamptons. So like we traveled around, we made our way. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. What kind of
80s, some 90s and early 2000s like boy band, girl band stuff. Some like Avril Lavigne mixed with like some Pat Benatar mixed with like Blink 182.
Any Blondie?
Was there any Blondie?
Let's think.
Ooh, there might have been one. We had a lot of different songs that we shuffled through. So, like, I think there was a Blondie song, maybe. Oh gosh, it's been years. I don't remember. But yeah,
Very
it was
cool.
a good. I definitely remember that we had "I Want to Dance with Somebody" on there for sure. That was,
okay.
That was a popular one.
That was a pretty cool song.
People liked that a lot. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I think it's time to play the game.
But yes,
We're gonna
Okay.
play
it's true.
Oh, boy.
a little game.
Oh dear.
All right.
little game. I'm gonna prepare myself.
I'm gonna explain it right this time. I'm gonna explain
Damn
it
it.
right.
Okay.
All right, so it's a voice swap game.
Oh,
So
boy.
Jim will do one of his character voices, and then you will do that same line, but in one of your character voices, and then
Okay.
vice versa.
Okay. This isn't.
And
as
then you have to
scary
give
as
me
I
one of
thought.
yours, and I'll mimic it in one of mine.
Okay. And I'm, for anyone who's watching who's an Avatar fan, I know that well, how many are we doing? 1, 2?
Well, I'll do one.
Do a
then-
couple?
then
Okay,
you do
great.
one
So I will
back.
do one Avatar line, but then I definitely want to do this other line that I think is very fun. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, so you're going first.
Sure. Okay. Let's see. And of course, dealer's choice as to which character you wish to
Sure.
respond in.
Okay.
I could throw you a real curveball here.
Okay.
Should I throw you a real? Shall we-
Curveball me.
What do you think, Taz?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see. What do you? Okay. Now all you have to do is repeat it in,
Yes.
in one of your characters.
Okay.
Okay.
That is a real curveball.
We're going to see how well you can tap dance here.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
Wow. That was freaky. It was like Taz was in the room.
I don't know about that, but
That was my favorite one.
tried my best.
That was really good.
I thought that would be the most entertaining. I attempted. I played this little bridge troll in a video game, World of Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's like, I'm Big Bridge Alexander, or whatever. And so I was like, that voice might be the most fun because
So
it's
she
kind of
was the
squeaky.
villain.
She was
No,
just kind of
Just
a
kidding.
yeah. But she could have been ish. She was more just like a gatekeeper. So she was a
Oh.
little neutral.
Okay.
But yeah, that felt necessary for that line that I was read. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
My frogs! You think I'm crazy too, don't you?
Ooh. I think Ray. My frogs, y'all think I'm crazy too, don't you? Oh, hell no. No. Ray would never actually say that, but it's too late. I've said it.
That's okay. You would say it. Jim would say it.
Yes. Oh, gosh.
How much are we our characters? How much are they us? It's a very fine line. It all blurs together.
Yeah, that's true. It's not lonely in here, but it's but it's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's loud. There's a lot happening up here all the time.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of conversations and communities just jabbing with each other. Okay.
Now, so is there anything before we wrap up that you would like to tell people to where you're going to be, what you're going to do?
Sure. Gosh, so
Give them
many
an
things.
address to send money to. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. What day is it? Where am I? What's happening next? I just turned 30 on Sunday. It was just my birthday.
Happy birthday.
A couple days ago. So that was a fun
Wow.
little pinnacle moment. But I am back.
You could have said 19, and I would have went, oh.
Thanks. See, Jim's so nice to me. You're so nice to me. I will take
crazy.
it. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I feel pretty chill though. I feel like 25 was my crisis year. I don't know. Like
Oh, yeah?
that was like a hard, weird moment for me. I had like a quarter life crisis moment. But like 30's been chilling. So I'm like, cool. I think we're good. I think we're fine. Up next, I'm headed out
Very
to do
cool.
a few more conventions this year.
Oh, good.
I don't know where you're headed, but I think I'm going to be
Somewhere.
in Colorado and Washington and Texas, maybe the UK, question mark, I don't know. But I usually post about it on Instagram, at Michaela Mostly, because it's mostly me on there. Haha, fun little play on
Ba-dum-bum.
words. Same name on YouTube. I usually share my travels on there with a little Michaela on the move and cool things from cons where I show like little gifts and fan art that people give me and stuff. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok at Michaela Jill Murphy. Occasionally doing silly dances and just ranting at things that annoy me in my hotel rooms. That's the content you can find on there. And if you want to kind of deep dive, I also like model and do some photo shoots and just like do some stream of conscious thinking. I made a little crew called the Bandit Community since one of Toph's nicknames is the Blind Bandit. And so I figured, the bandits would kind of be like my crew. So if you want extra stream of conscious Michaela, if you just go to michaelajillmurphy.com, you can join the Bandit Community. There's just like a little private feed where I just I gripe and rant and talk about other things in my life. Those are all the places you can find me. And hopefully, they're going to announce a video game that I voiced a main character in that's pretty big, that's coming out next year. And hopefully I can share that soon. I can't yet, but it's coming and it was very fun. And
that's wonderful.
So hopefully
ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it. That's so fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Jim.
Thank you.
Congrats on the podcast.
Great.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here.
Sure thing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
There you go. Thank you. Should you take us home, Chris?
Sure. Hello out there.
Yeah.
This was another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Today we were joined by Michaela Jill Murphy. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much.
That's awesome.
We want that plaque.
Get the plaque.
Yes, we
want
do.
the plaque. So subscribe right now. Don't forget, you can find bonus content on Patreon. Thank you to all our patrons. We love you. We appreciate you. There's bonus content on there. There's extras. There's deep dives. There's all that good stuff. So be sure to check us out on Patreon. And as always, you can find our podcast, Tuned In with Jim Cummings, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you in the next one.
Doom, doom. Thanks, buddy.
Sure.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.